You're already manifesting. The question is, are you doing it consciously? Today, you're in for a treat as Taylor Milkovich, the cosmic vegan, breaks down the science behind the magic.
For generations, women were shamed for trusting themselves, sensing things before they happen, and believing in their own power. No one encouraged them to embrace it until now. Welcome to Trust Yourself.
Have you ever set a goal and suddenly started seeing signs related to that goal everywhere? That's not magic. That's your brain's reticular activating system at work. And don't worry, if you don't know what that means, we're going to talk about it later. But in today's episode, we're diving into the science behind conscious creation, aka manifestation, and how to rewire your brain to manifest intentionally. Yes, manifestation is real and neuroscience can prove it. Now, I know in previous episodes we did introduce the concept of manifestation, but today we are revealing the actual science behind this powerful practice.
Today, we are so lucky to have Taylor Milkovich joining us to talk all about conscious creation. Taylor, also known as the Cosmic Vegan on TikTok and Instagram, is a well-known spiritual life coach and an incredible manifestation educator, blending spirituality with neuroscience in a very digestible way. She teaches people how to use the laws of the universe in tandem with research-backed neuroscience to create a life they actually want to wake up to. Welcome, Taylor. We are so excited to have you with us. Let's jump right in. Okay, Taylor, let's start with the basics here. So, what is conscious creation and how is it different from simply having goals or wishful thinking?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I love the term conscious creation over manifestation. Manifestation has gotten a little bit of like a weird woo-woo rep over the past, however long decade. But conscious creation, I feel like those two words together really explain what the process is. So really what it is, to me, is it's deliberately using your awareness to your advantage. Your belief systems, your thought processes, your emotions, your intentions, all of these things, they all come together and they create the external world that you are experiencing. So with conscious creation, instead of being on autopilot, which is typically how we are, programmed, get into the subconscious mind real quick, it's kind of crazy because that, even before we take our first breath in the third trimester, up until about 10 years old, that's when that subconscious mind is the most impressionable. So all of these inherited beliefs that are coming at us, our subconscious mind is just soaking them up. And as we continue to move throughout life, it's all on autopilot and it's bleeding into every single area of our life: finances, love, relationship, health, like career, whatever it may be. So with conscious creation, it's basically taking that awareness and being intentional with it to co-create your life, to align your inner world with your external outcomes.
That's amazing. Also, I love that you said that about manifesting because I kind of feel the same way. Although I will say, I think that terminology is kind of shifting now into more of a accepted term, I guess, manifestation. But I agree with you. I think I like conscious creation better. It's almost even more palatable, I think, for people because you're right. It says exactly what it is.
Or if you're like mom, she likes the word prayer instead of manifesting. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to a friend just today, and the term manifestation came up, and she was like, I don't really think I believe in that. And she was kind of going through why, and, she's a very big believer in God and everything. And I was like, so am I, though. Like, that's the thing is, I think manifestation has been separated into its own category where we think that it's like, that it's just like weird, like witchery thing where it's really not. Whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever, like I say, I believe God has created everything in the universe for us. We have all these resources, at our fingertips. We also have these human bodies that our souls are in, and they have a brain and they can only process so much. And so that's where like the mindset really gets into it, where you are consciously co-creating, you're not God yourself, but you're an extension of it and you can co-create. So,
and it doesn't have to be either or. I love that. Yes, you can believe in God, universe, and manifest and pray.
Correct. Yeah.
It's all just words, really. You're all doing the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think you already kind of answered this one, but is everyone creating their own reality, whether they know it or not?
100%. 100%. I mean, we always have these belief systems that are working in the background, and they're influencing our emotions, our thought processes, our decisions that we're making, the actions that we're choosing to take or not choosing to take if there's some resistance there. And all of that put together is literally creating the world that we are experiencing. And then with that result, which is our reality, that is enhancing the belief system that's at the core of it all. So whether you're aware of it or not, which like 99% of the time you're not aware of it because that's what the subconscious mind does. And, the conscious mind isn't as active as a subconscious mind in that way. So you're creating. So where we are right now, like we created this.
Hell yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I love it.
Like it or not.
I know. So like you talk about, a lot of times we're living unconsciously. Is there a risk to living unconsciously? Or like, are we just reacting to life instead of creating it? Or if we're choosing to consciously create, is it like a all the time sort of thing? Or can it just be kind of, I don't know, intermittent?
Yeah, I think there certainly is a risk to not having that awareness. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily possible for us to always be consciously creating because the subconscious is so powerful. However, it is possible for us to bring awareness to what the programming is of our subconscious mind and to be able, we have neuroplasticity, so we can create new neural pathways and we can reprogram our subconscious mind so that it becomes more natural for us to live in alignment with the things that we actually desire. The risk of not doing that is holding yourself back. I truly believe you can have, do, and be anything that you want in this life. And also, we're not taught that at a young age. I have a very big passion for children learning this because, like I said in the beginning, we're inheriting all of these belief systems and we're not choosing them. And your subconscious doesn't know what's real or what's being imagined. And so if you're just a kid and you're so pure and you're going throughout life and then all this is being thrown at you and you're accepting it as truth, obviously it's going to become your truth and your reality. And so if you don't have that awareness piece in place, the risk there is you're not going to live up to your full potential.
Beautifully said. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, now I'm just curious. Can you share a time when you manifested something big by just aligning your thoughts and actions?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a couple examples, but I'm going to start with one. And then actually I have a story too about my mom because I've taught her a lot about manifestation as well. And I was kind of thinking about it last night and I was like, I'm going to share this.
Yes. I love it.
But with me specifically, I always use my home as like my example because it's so relatable, right? It's something that so many people desire in this lifetime. They want to own a home. They want to buy their first home, whatever. And if you've done it, you know that it's like, could be a frustrating process. I mean, it's exhausting, number one. Like you're touring these houses and, a lot of them aren't meeting your expectations. And then one does, and you're like, oh yeah, thank God. And then your offer doesn't get accepted.
Yep.
Or your offer does get accepted. And then there's something structurally not sound with the house. And so it doesn't go through. And that was my experience too, right? Like looking for months on months on months. And just to the point where like I was, still living with my mom. We had sold our childhood home. We were renting a condo together. It was great because, I could save up for a home and all that. But I wanted my independence so bad, guys. Like, yeah. I was like, I am so ready for this. Like, please, for the love of God. And so we're looking and things are falling through or whatever. And I actually remember my realtor said to me, he was like, Taylor, I think your house just isn't on the market yet. It's out there and it's waiting for you and you're going to find it, but it's just not on the market yet. And when he said that, I was like, I'm going to go with that, I think. And so I actually came home. I'm a big journaler and I journaled and I was like, my home I wanted a bungalow for my first home. I think they're super cute. So I was like, it's a bungalow. I've got great neighbors, it's enough space for me. It's enough space for me to entertain my friends, my family. And I'm feeling excited as I'm like writing this out because emotion is such a strong part of manifestation. And it's a tool that we all have access to when it's not the thing itself that you want. It's not the house that I really wanted. It was the feeling of independence and freedom and excitement. That's what I wanted. The house is just a result of that. Yeah, so I'm journaling about it, and this house comes up on the market. It's not even at my price point. It's a little bit over. It was this one, and then the one across the street were both on sale. One across the street was in my price range. I didn't want it. I don't want that one. This does not fit my vibe. This is not what I want. When I stepped into this house, it felt so intuitively like this is the one. I don't know how because they're going to have to meet me where I want to be, but it's the one. And I remember standing in the living room with my realtor and it was actually my uncle. So he was a family member. And I remember just watching his mindset process. And he was like, how the hell am I going to get this seller to like come down in price and get this house. And I felt like his like resistance there, but I was like, no, it's going to happen. He wrote a letter to this woman and just explained like, hey, Taylor's a first time home buyer. She can see her family, building a family here, just this whole thing. And as it turns out, the seller was the daughter of the original owner. She grew up in this house, and that just like touched her so much. Like she brought the price down and met me where I was at. And I remember my uncle like texted me and was like, hey, you got the house. And I was like, I did? Like what?
my God.
I did? But it wasn't even hardly a shock because it was like, of course I got it. Like
yes.
I knew it was going to happen. So that was like one of the first things that I was just like, wow, the price point, the timing couldn't have been more perfect. The house itself literally couldn't have been more perfect. It didn't need any work. It was like freshly painted. Like from all the houses I saw, I was like, thank God the other ones didn't work out.
Right.
That's the other part of manifestation that's so fun. It's like in the moment, you're like almost wanting to give up because you're like, fuck, dude, like this is never going to end. Like I'm never going to find it, or I keep getting rejected and all that. But all of those rejections are just such subtle, like gentle redirections to where you're supposed to be. And now sometimes I'll drive down like the different streets of the houses that I was looking at. And I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad I don't live there. Like,
Right?
that's all. So that's always like my like relatable example. And then what I was going to say about my mom also has to do with her housing. She has come such a long way in her mindset, and she always says that her children have taught her the most, which is an honor to me because she's incredible. But she retired and wanted to go down to Florida, and my brother and his family are down there, so her grandkids are down there, and that's what she wanted to do. Heartbreaking for me because she's my best friend, so I'm like, this sucks. But at the same time, super happy for her and everything. And when that was happening, she was retired and she was living with me for a little bit. Same thing. Like, it's frustrating. Like, where am I going to go? And her money mindset was even a little bit like rough. Like, oh, things are so expensive down there. And like, I can't afford it and whatever. And we had a couple of conversations and I was like, Mom, like, feel it now. Like, as if it's already happening. Just imagine it, feel it. Don't worry about expensive. Don't worry about price, because what's meant is going to come and you're going to be able to afford it. Like, it's going to happen. So I have this sticky note, and I know that if people are not watching the actual video, they can't see it, but this is it. And I had it posted up in my guest room where she usually stays if she comes here. And all it says is, my Florida home is so cute. I knew it was there and came to me at the most appropriate time. I can't wait for move-in day. Thank you. And check this out. She would always be like, I don't even need much space. I just want like a little studio, like just a little space for me to be in. She makes earrings, spiritually inspired earrings. So she's like, I want somewhere where I can, create my products, somewhere I can sell it on the beach. Oh my gosh, this girl's manifested so much. She would walk the beach and there was a little market there. And she would say to me when we would talk, I'm going to be in there one day selling my earrings. I'm going to be in there. Oh, she sure shit did.
Hell yeah, she
She's
did.
been selling her earrings in there for the last couple of years and she does phenomenal.
Wow.
And anyway, so she gets this little, condo. It's perfect. And wouldn't you believe it? My brother's neighborhood is like right here. There's a wrought iron fence. There's her condo. She's that close to her family and just manifested. I mean, it's exactly what she pictured. So I always keep this as a reminder too, because like, my mom's always been a very intelligent woman, but always very skeptical too. And, her limiting beliefs come in a little strong. And I'm like, if she can do all this, if I can do all this, like, I promise you anybody can. So yeah, those are my two like big, relatable examples, I would say.
Those are great examples.
Yeah.
Also,
Really.
can we put your mom's website in the show notes so we can go buy
Yes.
the
Oh my
earrings?
gosh. I would love it. And she would love it. I was actually going to ask if I could plug her anyway.
Yeah. Plug away.
Yes.
And it's not to go like overboard on this topic, but again, like she manifested that as well. Like she wanted to make chakra earrings.
Ooh.
She saw a pair that she wanted to buy, and then she was like, oh, I think I want to make them. So then she made them, and she's like, that's easy. And she's like, I think I'm going to sell like spiritual earrings. So they're all like handmade. They have semi-precious crystals, and then like different like spiritual charms. I'm wearing them right now. I have my
I was going to say, I need to buy those.
Tiger's Eye owl ones, but
Those are
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she's just amazing, and I'm so happy. And that's why I do what I do. I mean, whether it's a family member, a client, a friend, I just love to see people reach their potential and succeed. Like, it's just it raises my vibration,
Yeah. That's why we do this soul-led work, because it's truly filling your cup. like from the inside. Absolutely. I also really like what you said about how you kind of drive down the roads of the other houses that you didn't get. And as you were describing this, it kind of reminded me of just like life in general. Like you could think that, oh, you missed this huge opportunity or you messed stuff up or whatever, but everything is meant to happen exactly how it happens, even if it feels in the moment like it's shit hitting the fan. But
Really?
when you actually get to a place where you can look back, you're like, wow, that's why that had to happen.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool actual thing you can do is like driving down the roads of the other houses. Cause I remember doing that too when we lived in Minnesota. And I drove past one of the houses that I was like devastated we didn't get. And then I drove past it. I'm like, it's actually not that great. Why did I want it so bad?
You see it through a completely different lens. And that's why, like surrender is so important in conscious creation. Holding that vision, we want instant gratification so bad, but I compare it to like going to the gym. Like you want to lose weight, you want to build muscle. You get all excited at first and you're like, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. You're envisioning how you're going to look, how you're going to feel. And then you go for a couple of days, a week, a month, and you're like starting to get, lose motivation because you're like, well, it's not happening. Nothing's happening that's happening. It's going to happen. Like it's proven to happen if you follow, the basics of it. But it's not instant. And it's the same thing with like your mindset. Your brain's a muscle too. It takes time. And it's probably arguably even going to take longer than something like physical like that because, again, you have been programmed for so long and you have so much to like unravel up there and to reprogram and rewire. And it takes effort and it can be exhausting. And especially if you don't see that instant like change happening in your reality. So being able to hold the vision while still having that high vibration, that high excitement and that joy and clarity on your intentions is such an important part of the entire process.
That's a perfect segue into
Yeah.
this next part. So it's time to geek out on science. I'm very excited. So Taylor, tell us what exactly is happening in the brain when we start consciously creating.
So I'm going to just give you a little like disclaimer here. I'm by no way a neuroscientist and I don't know everything there is to know about the brain, but the one thing that I do like to talk about a lot, and I've heard you guys talk about too, is the RAS, the reticular activating system. It's so fascinating to me. And, just for people that don't know, basically what it is, it's a bundle of neurons that's in your brain stem, and it is solely responsible for filtering out your sensory input. And what I find to be so crazy about it is there's 40 billion bits of information like in our environment that's coming at us every millisecond, not every second, every single millisecond. That's crazy. And our conscious mind can only process 40 of them. I don't even know what that fraction is, but I'm sure it's like 0.000000 something. I mean, that's just insane. And so when you think about that, it's like, wow, like how much am I missing that already exists in my external world that I'm not taking advantage of? And so, the RAS, it's the reason why, like, for like a more like relatable or concrete example, it's the reason why you can hear your name in a crowded room, or it's the reason why if you say I want to buy a blue Mustang or something like that, you start seeing them out on the road. It's not magic. It's not because people just like started all of a sudden buying blue Mustangs in like high quantities. It's literally selective awareness. It's you're training your brain to see certain things. So when it comes to manifestation, it's all based on your subconscious program. It's all based on your belief system. It wants to prove you right. And your subconscious mind does not care. It's like so neutral. It doesn't care what you're feeding it. It's like, it just wants to prove you right. It just wants to be like, oh, that's what you think? Cool. Let me find you an example of that. And so if you're somebody that, like in my case, I wanted to start a coaching business and I wanted to make more income. Like these were things that I desired that I had to work through so many limiting beliefs to be able to get there. But if I believed, which I did at one point, that money is scarce or that money is hard to receive, well, then my brain, it's literally going to filter out and it's going to find examples and be like, yep, that's true, And every time it does that, it's going to just reaffirm that belief and make it stronger. And it's going to be a continuous cycle like that. So you have to break the cycle, and you do that. Your subconscious mind loves repetition. Affirmations are great if you know how to use them. And I just say that because it's not necessarily as simple as looking in the mirror and saying money flows freely and easily to me. If you don't believe that shit, then just saying that is wasting your breath. Like, you have to believe that. You have to feel that. You have to know that with every bit of your being for it to be able to be true and then eventually manifest. But with the RAS, so then if I shift my mindset a little bit and I'm like, you know what? There are so many channels for financial abundance. There's so many of them out there. There's so many opportunities. There are so many aligned clients. If I tell myself that every day, so then maybe I'm like scrolling through Facebook and I happen to see like a group that comes up or something and it says like, you know, I don't know, spiritual entrepreneurs or, you know, mindset, whatever the keyword is. Now I'm going to, instead of scrolling past that, I'm going to recognize it because now I've kind of trained my RAS to say, yeah, that's actually important. I think we want to put that in the conscious mind. I think we want to be aware of that now. And so now I see it, I click on it, maybe I scroll through, I read some things I like, maybe I'm like, I'm going to take a little inspired action here, I'm going to put a post out, and then all of a sudden, a week later, I get an inquiry from a client. Oh my gosh, it happens to be somebody that I would love to work with. Cool, they're like dedicated to spirituality, they love mindset, they have the drive to do the work. We hop on a call, we vibe. Now all of a sudden, I'm sending her over the contract, and she's signing a $5,000 6-month mentorship, whatever it is. And that might seem like such a simple, like almost serendipitous, like, okay, so what? You notice something on Facebook. But I wouldn't have if I wouldn't have retrained my mind to recognize it, if that makes sense. So
Absolutely.
It's really incredible. And that's why going back to like when you said like, well, what's like the risk of not having this awareness? Well, that's the risk. There's so many little things that do align to the life that you want to live that you could so easily surpass. You could so easily miss them. But basically, training your brain to see those things, to see those opportunities is going to take you a really long way.
It reminds me of that video or those videos that you see where somebody says, oh, here's a person talking in the front foreground, but hey, did you see that gorilla in the back? No, because I wasn't looking for it.
Exactly.
So if you're not looking for these opportunities, of course you're going to miss them. It's that in the gorilla suit in the background that you weren't thinking was going to happen.
Yeah. Awareness is 90% of transformation. I mean, that's, I learned that from Aaron Doughty a long time ago. I don't know if you know him, but he's a podcaster, YouTuber, and that like stuck with me. And yeah, the more aware you can be of, you know, your belief systems, what you desire, and how those two mesh together to align, or if they are unaligned, the better off you're going to be. You're going to have rapid growth with manifestation at that point.
And you talked about this a little bit earlier too, Taylor, but explain neuroplasticity and how does it support the idea that we can rewire our thoughts and outcomes?
Yeah. Well, like I said, when we're kids, that's when our subconscious is most impressionable, but it doesn't mean it's not impressionable once we're an adult. So you can learn and unlearn things, basically. You can create new neural pathways in your brain, which means you can create new belief systems, you can create new thought processes, and all of this together is going to, again, it's going to impact the decisions that you're making. It's going to impact the actions that you're taking. And that's going to give you, your result in your reality. So yeah, with your brain just being neuroplastic, you just have the ability to shape it into what you actually want it to be without having to take the inherited belief systems of your parents or of society or your teachers, whoever it was. One of my favorite things to say is the more I learn, the more I realize I have to unlearn. Like unlearning is a part of learning. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. So, I mean, I'm probably going to skip this next question because you've literally answered both questions.
Well, before you do that, I'm just curious if you have any tips, Taylor, on if there are any ways to rewire your brain in a quick way, or for example, I think was it Bashar that says you can rewire in 15 minutes? I don't know, but you can rewire it by just having awareness of it, or are there things you can actually do to help you once you do realize you have a limiting belief?
Oh, for sure. I mean, your subconscious mind loves repetition. I mean, Bashar is great, but I don't know if 15 minutes is necessary. I'm not going to say you can do that. I think that might be clickbait. I'm going to be honest.
Most likely.
Okay, thanks for calling me out on that one. I am a sucker for clickbait.
Hey, like I said, I'm not a neuroscientist, so maybe somebody else can confirm or deny that one. But in my experience, with intention and repetition. So basically, the whole process, if I can just break it down real quick. So number one, you have to have clarity on your intentions. You have to know exactly what it is that you want. and get specific with it. That's the fun part of it, is like using your imagination to get super specific. So, a lot of people are like, well, I want abundance. Well, I want love. It's like, that's awesome. That's great. That's a really nice, blanket statement. But like, what does that look like to you? How are you going to recognize once you have that? Because you could be manifesting that right now in multiple different ways and you think you're not. So what does that look like? So get specific. So instead of I just want abundance, it's like, no, I want to receive an additional $5,000 a month in my online coaching business, or, whatever it might be. I want to attract a partner who values accountability and communication and who loves to hike and be in nature. Like, get specific with it. And then once you do that, then that's where you have to kind of understand the awareness piece. Like, all right, so where's your belief system at right now? And is it in alignment with that thing? Or is it, is there a resistance there because of your belief systems? And then once you figure that out, you want to figure out what the emotions are that are attached to your desire. Feel the excitement, feel the joy, feel the confidence, all of these things. Feel it now as if it's already happening so that you can shift your internal vibration to match the frequency of the reality that you actually want to experience, because it already exists and it has its frequency and you can connect to it. And then you got to take inspired action, so you got to mesh all that together instead of like hustling and grinding. Like, look out for those gentle nudges from, God or the universe, those things that might not even logically make sense, but you're just like, damn, I feel like I have to do this. And then do it. And then once that happens, like I said, surrender. You don't need to know the how. You don't need to know the when. You want to, but you don't need to know it. Surrender to it. Trust the intelligence of your subconscious mind. Trust the intelligence of God. Trust that it's already in creation, and trust that you have the ability to co-create it. So that's kind of the longer answer, but really repetition. I mean, journaling is so big. I'm such an advocate for it. I've been doing it for the longest time. Even something as simple as like quick reflection at the end of the day, like 3 things you're grateful for, because gratitude is one of the highest frequencies you can be in. I would always suggest practicing gratitude daily, no matter who you are or what you want. And then maybe even when you do like those 3 gratitudes, also like pick out something that felt maybe heavy during the day, maybe a little bit challenging. What was that? Is there a pattern there? Do you feel that daily? Is there a limiting belief that you can kind of like nitpick out of there? And then if there is, how do you shift that into something more empowering that's going to actually align to the desire that you have instead of create resistance within it?
Someone told me once that if you have a limiting belief and you realize you want to fix it, but you're like, there's no way I can think they can be this person, or I can't do this. If you can't picture it for yourself, maybe your friend has done it. Maybe somebody has done it. And that's the first step. Like, if you can see that somebody else has done this, then why not you? It's kind of like that 4-minute mile idea that no one could run faster than 4 minutes until they did. And then then after that, everybody could. So not everybody. Whoops. I mean, more people could.
I can almost believe that everybody could. And a lot of people would call me delusional for that, but I love when I get called delusional, so it's fine.
I think everyone could do it. It's just whether or not they want to.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a great point that you bring up, because that's something, like with different clients that I have, and they bring that up, like, feelings of jealousy or envy. And it's like, why would you be jealous? Because that is sincerely the universe reflecting back to you saying, this is possible. Because it has happened and you're experiencing it happening. So, instead of mustering up that feeling of jealousy, which sometimes is automatic, but again, that's your subconscious mind, emotions are always attached to a belief, a core belief of some sort. So if you feel that jealousy coming up, pause, stop for a second and just figure out, like, how can you take this experience and actually shift it to your advantage? Like, get a little, like, almost selfish with it, right? And, like, maybe go talk to that person and be like, hey, you have X, Y, and Z, and that's something that I'm, really trying. It's a goal of mine and something I'm trying to obtain and achieve. Can I like pick your brain a little bit? Like, and you'd be so surprised, like how much A, people are willing to help you, and then B, like how much relatability there really is between you and that person, which then even further confirms that it's possible for you. Because it's like, damn, if you were like in a similar spot that I was and you got there, then like for sure I can.
Yeah. Okay, Taylor, I have to ask you, do you have a favorite study or a piece of research that you love that supports conscious creation?
Oh, that's a great question. Nothing specifically like article-wise that I like keep in my back pocket or anything like that.
You need to recite it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't just carry around research.
No, I mean, nothing specific that like comes to mind. But most of my knowledge and learning has just been from learning from others. I listen to a lot of psychology podcasts, a lot of like mindset, consciousness podcasts. Like I mentioned, Aaron Doughty, he's one of my favorites. He is kind of self-made, and his story is, he always wanted to be like a famous YouTuber. And so he kind of adopted that identity of it and did it every day and was like, I'm just going to keep doing it until it manifests and until it happens. And he did. And now he's doing live events and he's evolved in so many of the things that he's doing. But he was a big influence on me, like Joe Dispenza, a lot of his work, big influence on me. I know he's a little more scientific in a lot of the things that he does.
He's actually a neuroscientist.
Yeah, we should talk to him.
We need to bring him into the chat for sure. Dolores Cannon is another one. She's a little bit more like esoteric because I don't know if you guys are familiar, but she's more like
on my nightstand, actually.
I'm not even shocked. But just the things that she talks about, I think are, very interesting. And I think they can apply to conscious creation as well. So I have a lot of different people, influencers that I've learned from for sure. And I feel like the information is it's endless. There's so much out there. There's TED Talks, there's podcasts, there's Gaia TV. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that too. I mean, there's so much on there that I'll mosey through and I'll watch different books and articles and whatnot. Like I took kind of a deep dive when quantum physicists discovered a few years back that like reality isn't locally real. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? I can digest this and process this, and it's still a little hard for me to understand. But basically, I mean, it's just incredible that we're doing these studies that are trying to figure out like how reality works and how we work with it, and to discover that like maybe things don't really have like specific physical properties that they hold on to. Maybe they only have them once we do observe them. Like that's incredible. And so, kind of like I said with learning, you learn that there's so much to unlearn. You also learn that there's so much we don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the beauty of it all. And that's why it's fun to like think through these things and hypothesize and get a little delusional. Like, fuck it. No, that's how we figure things out.
Yeah, I know Sissy has mentioned this a few times too, but the Telepathy Tapes podcast, like that's literally cracking open this whole new universe that we never believed could be possible, right? Telepathy, like, okay, that's what you see on sci-fi movies, but now we're seeing that it's happening in real time, in real life. Like all the things that we believed were impossible, what if all those things are actually possible? So it's just a cool time to live.
It is a cool time to live. And I mean, when you really think about it, like humanity hasn't really been around that long. So there's a lot that we don't know about ourselves and our brains and how powerful we are. Although sometimes I do kind of think about like ancient civilizations and how incredibly intelligent they were. And I'm like, no offense to us, but like what happened? Like,
I was just going to say, what freaking happened?
They were so in tune with the universe and the stars and like, mindset and inner power. And it's like, and then I don't know what happened along the line, but something
happened.
Yeah. Well, maybe they do say history repeats itself. Maybe we can actually
We'll get back there.
Go back to that.
Yeah.
Okay, Taylor. So for our listener who is trying to consciously create, what is something that they can do to keep themselves in that conscious creator mindset? And how do they catch themselves when they may be slipping into unconscious programming?
I'm going to give a cliche answer here, and I'm sorry because I know I am a coach, but find one. That's my answer because in theory, I always say like at a fundamental level, it's so easy. On paper, it's so easy. Oh my God. It's like, that's all I got to do?
Yep.
But having that accountability is so important. I've hired multiple coaches in my lifetime. My first one, I remember like it just blew my mind being able to have that person there to even just run things past. So that's my number one. Find somebody that you mesh with. Doesn't have to be me, doesn't have to be you guys, whoever it is. And take the leap, like value yourself enough to invest in yourself, to do the inner work. Your return of investment is going to be huge, no matter which way you slice it, whether it's financial income, whether it's finding love, whether it's a career advancement, whether it's just self-worth and self-love.
Yes.
Your return of investment is going to be, it's going to blow whatever you pay that coach out of the water. I promise you. So that's number one. And then I guess, if you do want to try things on your own, just reflection, like take some time to know yourself. It's incredible how many people don't know themselves. Like I don't even know myself fully. You know what I mean? Like I'm learning new things about me every single day. And 5 year ago version of me didn't know shit about nothing.
She didn't want to know. It's scary.
Yeah, she didn't want to know. And it is scary. And that's something I think holds a lot of people back, is like, it's so hard to come face to face with those pieces of yourself, because you don't want to admit that, like, you don't feel worthy. You don't want to admit that, the impact that your parent had on you as a child has, bled into your relationships, and that might be why they're not working. You don't want to admit that you don't think you're valuable enough to earn a certain income. That sucks, dude. It feels shitty. But feeling through that, number one, allowing that to come up and feel through it so you can release it is so important. But yeah, for somebody that's just starting out, I think just getting to know yourself a little bit. Again, getting clarity on your intentions. What is it that you even want? And then be so fucking for real with yourself. Like, are you there mentally? Like, your belief systems, like, actually match that? And if they don't, what do you have to believe in order for you to align with that reality? It's pretty simple. And then after that, it's really just putting it into your subconscious mind, repeating it constantly, writing it on a sticky note, putting it up in your bathroom, on your fridge, wherever you're going to see it, putting an alarm on your phone with the belief or the affirmation, and just have it go off randomly throughout the day and read it, and take a couple moments just to, like, not just read it, but, like, actually let that marinate within you, like, feel that, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Have an accountability partner. If you don't want to hire a coach, if you're not ready to have a coach, ask a good friend, like, hey, this is what I'm working on. This is, my belief I'm trying to implement into my subconscious mind. Can you just, like, hold me accountable, check on me, like, throughout the day, or, like, a couple times a week, just see how I'm doing? So many things that you can do. But like I said, subconscious mind is repetition. Repeat. Hold that vision. Hold that vibration. Just know that it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. But if you do those steps that I said, the clarity on the intention, if you connect the emotions, if you have the awareness, and if you take the inspired action, it is like 100% guarantee, like, it's going to manifest. There's no way it doesn't.
Perfectly wrapped up with a little bow. Love that.
We love it. We love a little bow.
Okay, Taylor, one last thing. What is one thing that our community can do to support your mission right now?
For sure. Well, they can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. It's at The Cosmic Vegan. That's pretty much where I do most of my content. I'm kind of leaning more towards Instagram right now. I actually kind of like the way it operates a little bit better than TikTok, even though my TikTok following is a little bit higher. I actually get more engagement on Instagram. So I would say gravitate there if you can. And then right now, I did a little survey. You guys probably saw it not too long ago, but I'm just always doing new projects. I'm always trying to figure out how to help people reach their potential and reach the desired reality that they want. And I put a survey out, and people want money out here, and I don't blame them. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
I want money too. So
I need to manifest them too.
Yeah. It's like you can never, I was talking to a friend the other day, and I was like, I think everybody wants more money. Even if you have a lot of it, like, there's still things that you can do with more of it, right? It's a tool. It's a resource. It's not bad to want it. I just want to put that out there too. Because I used to think it was bad to want it. And then I was like, fuck that, dude. Like, no wonder that I'm struggling with it. Like, shit. But anyways, so right now I'm working on a online mini course. It's going to help you basically reset your money mindset. It's going to help you attract between 1 and 5K a month. And if you follow everything that is in it, you will. I mean, I'm very confident that I'm giving you the 100% guarantee there. So that's what I'm
sign me up.
Sign me up, too.
Yeah, right? But I mean, any engagement I have on Instagram, honestly, I'm so thankful to every follower I have, everybody that, likes my stories, likes my content, comments. That means more to me than anything. So if you want to support me, just go give me a follow.
Well, you have such good nuggets of information. I love it. I love seeing your things pop up.
Thank you.
Yeah, these aren't just like short little bits either, too. They're like deep knowledge nuggets.
So thoughtful.
And that's why, like, we started following you. And then I think the first time I reached out to you, I told you I was like fangirling when you responded. I was like, oh my God, Sissy
Well,
Taylor responded.
I'm like, no way she responded herself. It's got to be her assistant.
That's help my assistant. Yeah, my assistant. No, and that's kind of what I like about where I'm at with my social medias and my coaching, and because I do like it to be more personable. Like, and I'm just being for real, and I understand that people do need to automate things, whatever. But if I reach out to somebody and I get this like bullshit automation back, it like sucks. I'm
It does
like,
suck.
what? So that's not who I ever want to be. So I'm glad you guys appreciate it. Yeah, I always do my best to answer back to DMs and requests and things like that and to chat with people. Like I said, it's why I do it. I love connection, so it means the most to me.
Well, you're amazing and you're doing amazing soul-led work. So, Taylor, just thank you so much again for coming on to our podcast and sharing all your wonderful wisdom, your beautiful blend of science and soul.
I love
So,
that.
yes, yes, you can find Taylor on Instagram, TikTok. We'll put everything, links in the show notes.
At the
And
Cosmic Vegan.
at the Cosmic Vegan. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. And this has been an absolute pleasure. And we learned so much. And I can't wait to sign up for your mini course.
Oh, thank you. Thank you guys for having me. If I could just say one more thing, I do have like one final message I want to put out there. I feel
Yes.
very called to.
Please
Um,
do.
Now, guys, I don't have any kids. I know you guys have kids. But like I said, I'm very passionate about kid learning this. And so to all of my parents out there, my wonderful moms and dads, if my younger self could give one wish to the current parents, it's to take a little bit of time to explain this stuff to your kids, to check in with them, to see, what they do believe about certain things. Maybe the things that you struggled with, check in with them and see what do they perceive. And then maybe throw them a little like affirmation now and again, let them know like, hey, you're valuable and you're worthy and you can do, be, and have anything that you want in this life. Okay, cool. Just want you to know that. That is going to go such a long way. When I say my inner child is screaming right now, like, do it, please do it. I mean, I'm not kidding. So, yeah, from somebody who's not a parent to all the parents out there, take some time to do that. It's going to set your kids up for success.
That's great advice. And I think Heidi, you tried to teach your
It's-
kids manifestation too at one
Oh,
point.
yeah.
And
Well, we talk about it a lot. Like we talk about all those things like energy, frequency, feelings, all the things, which my daughter has been manifesting lots of things. So she manifested her cat, first of all.
Yay,
Um,
let's go.
because my husband is allergic to cats and my daughter just was always drawn to cats. And when she turned 5 last January, I took her to the cat cafe because you had to be 5 to go to the cat cafe. And this cat chose her. And she came home and was telling her dad, like, I found this cat. I really love this cat, but I know you can't have this cat because you're allergic. And he goes, well, I'll probably be okay. And then she printed out a picture of the cat and she put it in her room. And she was just imagining that she had the cat already. She's like, hey, he's going to be sleeping in my bed right now. And just all the manifesting things. And then, of course, when I reached out to the rescue, it was like a super quick, they're like, they didn't even do any background checks. I think they were supposed to, but they're just like, yeah, you can have him. Pick him up tomorrow. So she totally manifested that cat.
Hell yeah, she did. That's amazing. And what a great thing to manifest. That's my girl right there.
Right?
Right?
Oh, okay, Taylor. Thank you so much again. And we will always keep in touch.
yes.
Guys, thank you.
Oh man, Heidi, that was amazing.
I
What'd you
knew it
think?
would be.
Of course, I know.
So exciting.
I loved it.
By the way, I definitely already ordered earrings from her mother. So I'm very
Aw.
excited to get those and I
I'm
will
gonna get
wear
some
them.
too.
And thank you, Taylor's mom.
Yeah. I think that was such a needed conversation for me right now. But my biggest takeaway was that you can only go as far as your lowest limiting belief. And really to dive into that, you need to be comfortable getting uncomfortable with yourself, getting to know yourself, and also having an accountability partner. Like, thank God I have you. But I know at my old job, I actually used to do this before I got into manifesting or knew about manifesting. But it wasn't related to manifesting, but I would always say, I'm sorry for everything and anything. Or I'd start my email that way and be like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but, and I had a coworker that would be like, Elise, stop it. You need to stop it. You don't sound like you actually are worthy of anything.
Yeah.
And so every time he would call me out, he'd be like, I'm only doing it because I do the same thing and we both need to work on it. So let's both call each other out when we say I'm sorry. So we did that. And actually it really did help a lot.
Yeah. I probably don't do it the right way too, because I'm just negative, not negative about it, but I'm like, sis, Stop. You're being silly.
I need that though.
Yeah.
Well, and you do it in other ways too. Like when I say anything about my bank account, you're like, yet, or you
Add a
the
zero,
dot, dot,
add
dot.
3 zeros.
Yes. Yeah.
Anytime you look at your bank statement, just add a couple zeros. And anytime you look at a bill, add a couple zeros and say that that's going into my bank account right now. So
Yes.
it's all mindset. It's all like the whole conscious creation idea is beautiful. And I love the way that she just is able to articulate it so well
Yeah.
and really make it digestible for everyone. So I hope you guys enjoyed that.
I sure did. And obviously, this is what we talk about quite often on Trust Yourself, using your mind and body as tools for transformation. And manifestation isn't about faking positivity, it's about consciously directing your energy. And now we know there's neuroscience backing it up.
Yeah. So get that word woo woo out of your vocabulary because we don't need it
leave it.
anymore. It's actually real life, right? It's for real life. All those Bluey fans out there. Shout out Bluey.
God, again, we reference Bluey too much.
I mean, we have children. If you didn't know, now you know. So we just really want to hear your manifestation story. Did you manifest a big move? Did you manifest your dream job? What did you manifest? Even if it was something small, we want to hear that. And we'd love to read it on our episodes. Send in your manifestation stories to us, stories@trustyourselfpodcast.com. And we might just read it on the show.
Links are in the show notes. So until next time, it's your move, sis.
Make it count. Bye.